What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Get the Bag podcast. I'm your host, Claudia Castro. I got my co-host Tim Park.
What up,
What
fam?
is up? It's dark out. I'm getting used to this
I
uh
know. Daylight
daylight
saving.
savings. It's just something that's not easy, but we're here for you. I'm really excited for today's show. Just specifically because this person goes way back with us. The last couple years, which is crazy. Time flies, but
Mm-hmm.
um, there's gonna be tons and tons of gems being dropped. But before we get into that, don't forget, subscribe, like this episode, follow us on all social media outlets. We're on here every week, either having a guest. It's been a while since it's just been me and you, Tim, but
I know. I'm loving the guest, so
yeah.
it's cool.
But we're bringing everybody with their specific expertise and to help everybody out. And of course, if you guys are ever looking to hop on our show, just feel free to reach out to us. But without further ado, today's guest is an entrepreneurial powerhouse. She kicked off her journey in real estate, closing her first wholesale deal in 2019. Tim and I connected with her probably 2020, 2021 in Chris Jefferson's Charge Up You program.
Mm-hmm.
And she killed it from, I think, very early on. She was just a go getter,
Yep.
hustler. But she decided to kind of switch things up and became a broker in the life insurance and financial services industry, and now has closed, I believe, over 350K in commissions earned
Wow.
while juggling a full time job. May have to ask her how she's done that. But I think the biggest thing as a licensed broker is she's now impacting families across the U.S. By merging this newfound love for life insurance and real estate. Let's welcome Latoya Mack to the Get the Bag podcast. What's going on, sis?
Hey,
What's
hey,
going on, sis?
what's up, y'all? Thanks for having me.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, I think from the moment that I met you, you're just like a go getter.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm not surprised when you switched over to the life insurance, and it's been a minute too. So just happy to kind of like see your face, because I know, like we were talking earlier, you like to keep things low key.
Yep.
But man, you doing big things though in the background. So I
I
see your
love it.
secret. I see how you roll, man. I love it. But I did want to kind of start off with kind of a little bit about yourself. Like, what kind of got you into? Were you always that entrepreneurial? Did you always have the entrepreneurial spirit? What kind of got you into real estate? Let's start a little bit on the real estate side first, and maybe kind of how that married into the life insurance. But yeah, tell us about what made you want to start a business. Talk to us.
Okay, all right. Well, one, thank you guys so much for having me. It's been a minute. It's so dope to just see y'all. It brings back memories, you know what I mean? So thank you so much for sure. Um, Entrepreneurship, I don't want to say it's something that I necessarily always wanted or maybe didn't know that I could be an entrepreneur, right?
Mm,
When I
Mm-hmm.
think about growing up and I think about my mom, I think about things we've gone through, et cetera. I just know that I always wanted to make sure that me and my family were good. I didn't know what that meant or what that looked like, but at that time it was like I had a full-time job, I had a part-time job, I may have had a side hustle. Like by any means, I just had that go-getter mentality that I just wanted to make sure I had enough to be able to take care of my family or to be able to achieve the things that I wanted to achieve. Now, how real estate came in effect, well, one, my grandparents on both my dad and mom's side, they did real estate. One was a stonemason, one was a bricklayer. So when I was young, I knew I always had that love for real estate, but never really knew how it was going to come to me. There was a time in my life when Tina and we were going through stuff financially, and like I needed money. Like I needed
Mm-hmm.
not a little bit of money, I needed a lot of money. So I was on YouTube, which I'm sure we've heard so many stories like that, and I came across wholesale and real estate, and I saw what you can do, or I saw that plan itself, and I believed it, and I just started studying. I remember I came across Kong, Max Maxwell, just various
Mm-hmm.
people. And I just, like I said, I studied, and I can't remember exactly. I want to say Chris Jefferson was like doing a live or something, or there was some competition and there was this dude from Richmond. I'm like, yo, this, I'm in Virginia, like he's doing this. So like certain things was kind of tying me to it. And then I just was like, okay, I want to try to do real estate. I want to try to do wholesaling. Now, the way my first deal came about was not me trying to find a deal or look for a deal. It was just, I was at work one day. This girl was talking about cleaning my grandparents' house, and that sounded like a trigger word that I heard in the future. You know?
Yep.
So I was like, oh, you're cleaning your grandfather's house. So I just started to talk to her, and she was like, yeah, did it. I was like, told her what I do. She's like, oh, you can come by if you want. And I came by, and it was a distressed property. It was in
Wow.
Falls Church, Virginia. And at that point, that was basically my first lead at that point. And long story short, we talked, got it under contract, didn't know what the hell I was doing. I don't think I was in a course or anything at that point, but this opportunity kind of fell on my lap. So I had did that first deal, but then after that, it was not that easy. Obviously, it was now trying to figure out, okay, I'm really in this entrepreneur space. I
Mhm.
know this can bring me a lot of money, but okay, now what's the play, right? And I didn't have money, I didn't have the resources to really know how to go after and get it. So it was driving for dollars and things like that to organically find opportunities so I could make money. So that's a little bit on how I ended up finding real estate and diving into it. And then when I did, I'm like, I've always loved real estate. It felt like, okay, this is what I'm supposed to do. And I don't see nothing else but real estate. So the last, 3.5 years, I've been
Mhm.
head down doing real estate, also still working working a full-time job because that's what I had to juggle both. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
I'll kind of pause there. But
Are
yeah,
are you still working a 9 to 5?
yeah, I still am.
I
Yeah,
was gonna say, I was like, yo, that's totally, because I remember us having conversations in the U, and
yeah,
like the ladies called we used to have, and even the call with Chris, and being like, yo, what's keeping you at the 9 to 5? I mean, if it's cushy and it's able to work, but that's gonna be one of the questions too, on like, maybe I'm jumping ahead a little bit, but
you're good.
what kind of things, at least on the real estate side, since we're on that topic, kind of helped
Yeah.
with the 9 to 5?
What helped with or why did I
What
kind of?
helped with your real estate business, at least kind of get you off the ground while working? Like, what kind of tips would you recommend? Because a lot of our audience work a 9 to 5,
Mhm.
right? What are some things that you did to kind of help, I guess, close more deals? Because after that first deal, it took some time, but once you figure things out, like you were closing deals consistently.
Yeah.
So, what kind of tips would you recommend somebody who has a 9 to 5? That's you know,
Yeah, one thing I would say is the main thing is like your schedule. You know what I mean? So working a 9 to 5, obviously your time's not going to be the same as someone that's able to do this full time. So I always had to be mindful when it's time to dial, it's time to dial. When it's time
Mhm.
to follow up, it's time to follow up at whatever stages I was working in the business. Because there were stages where it was just myself. It was me, Tina, Aaliyah was helping Skip Trace, and we didn't have the money. There's been phases through my journey of this. And the main thing with my job has just been because like everyone's story or journey, like if I could leave my job or whatever, if that made sense at that present time, and now I would, but based upon my life, things that I have going on, it's just not the right time. And if I've always felt if I can manage it and be disciplined and sacrifice for this period, there will be a time that I can cut ties with it.
right.
So in the midst of wanting to leave and hearing outside in this, I just have really stayed true to what I feel that is my journey and what I'm supposed to do. So someone working a full-time job that has aspirations to do entrepreneurship, start a business, is definitely possible if you want it, but also too, like your schedule is your boss, you know what I mean? So that's what I would live by. And it's also sacrifice, meaning you're going to have Saturday nights you're working, you're going to work 7 days a week. That's just part of the grind, depending on
Mhm.
how big your goals are. So that's the biggest thing that I always kind of stick by is my schedule and what I have to do at that time, whether if it's work, dialing, or I'm at Aaliyah's basketball games or coaching. Like everything is strategically timed out.
Mhm.
Yeah.
That's dope. That's dope. Let I think that's really good advice for people that are, have the 9 to 5 and trying to do, at least real estate for sure. And it, as just an entrepreneur, I think that's just a sound advice as well too, right? So, let's talk about a little bit about the bag here. We're talking about that 350K.
Mhm.
So, how did you like what? I guess what kind of strategies or you were working full-time job but still doing real estate
Mhm.
and what sacrifices and strategies did you do to actually achieve that success in real estate?
So in the midst of that, it wasn't just on me, like networking, collaboration. I know y'all know Nicole, her
Yeah.
and I have done deals together. The support of my family, like Tina and Aaliyah, being there to support me in whatever capacity that would be, whether if it's Tina's taking care of home and I'm focusing on a deal, or she may be looking for the buyer and I just got it locked up. So like through the midst of me accomplishing that in my midst of real estate, it wasn't just myself, it's with the help of others, which I'm grateful for,
Mm,
people that I've been able to build partnerships with and just the all around support. So that's been the biggest thing. There was a time where I've had VAs, we've had 6 VAs calling for us. So at times it was VAs were helping me generate the lead. There was times where it was just myself, me and Tina. So through it, it's been through the years, there's been different pieces as I've been kind of evolving, or where I felt like I've had to maximize my time because I've had a job. So I've had to outsource. So, like, I've had to adjust depending on what's happening in the business at that present time.
mm,
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, we all talk about having the pivot as an entrepreneur, like depending on your situations, because you can't control, like life situations are going to come at you. And I think that's where like the systems that you set in place, even those are changing too, because maybe what was working once at one point is no
Right.
longer working. Like where everyone's talking about texting, that was the hottest thing, right? When we got started, and now it's like everyone's moving away from texting or finding a more creative way, and cold call still prevails at all. We've been saying this, I think, for forever, but
Yeah. Yeah.
um, I think that's really great advice. And like, never settle, like always be prepared for changes, and things fall through the cracks. Maybe all your
mhm,
VAs like quit or just don't work out. You have to like get back into that seat of like working the day and the grind. So I think it you go through several iterations to get
Yeah.
to a point where you can find either like hand it off, and then and this is kind of like my follow-up question too, where you transitioned into life insurance. Like what kind of what motivated you to kind of make that step? You're obviously still in real estate, but what got you in the life insurance game?
So one, kind of like how you said, when things happen, when we know we need to make an adjustment, sometimes it's like a hard pill to swallow, because like me, it's like, yo, I'm real estate and there's nothing else. Like I didn't want to feel defeated. Like I didn't, when things were going hard for me personally and we had to pivot because, let's say, our VAs, what they were doing at that time, we weren't getting the numbers that we were getting before. So there was different adjustments that I had to make, and I had to like put the blinders on and look at what is going on in my business and what am I going to have to do for me and my family. And at that point I had to make a pivot. So as the
mm,
market kind of shifted, like I said, we had about 6 VAs, and slowly as time was going, I would say from August, yeah, going into 2022 August, I started seeing the profitability going down. I started seeing what I was putting into the VAs on a weekly or monthly basis, the margin of what we were making, how long till we were closing a deal. Like I'm a real big metrics person, so I was really
mhm,
looking at all of those indicators, and it was evident that there was a problem. And I had to like just swallow that and be like, okay, there is a shift, things are changing. Okay, Latoya, what are you going to do? And to be honest, at that point, I didn't really know what I was going to do. And I was getting frustrated. But this also, and I'm going to kind of hop around a little bit, this also goes back to the lesson I'm learning now being insurance, is reaching out to others. It's
Mhm.
being vulnerable, saying, yo, look, like, man, this shit is tough over here. Like, what are y'all doing? Like, instead
Mm-hmm.
of being in the corner, yeah, it's okay to low key and grind, but you got to be vulnerable and and share what you're going through, because maybe I could have got a play from you or Tim or whoever at that time, and that could have
Right.
changed something in my business. But that
Mhm.
it didn't happen that way, and it's totally okay. Which I feel like if it didn't, it wouldn't have led me to where I am now, being in insurance. And I'm honestly very grateful to be in it, because what I know in real estate, or what I've learned through Chris Jefferson, just all the people, just that's never gonna leave me. I can do a wholesale deal any day. I can do it right now.
Right.
It's
Yeah.
never gonna leave me. And if an opportunity comes, whether if it's a buyer or whatever, I know I can come back to that. So I had to realize that. So when I knew that, from profitability, scalability, like, man, I'm not about to get more VAs, or I'm not gonna do this. Like, that just
Mhm.
makes sense for me. I would tell Tina, like, man, I gotta figure something out. Like, something has to change. Like, if I could just get a system in place, if I could just get the leads, like, if I could just have all this. I was just naming everything that I wanted, because I didn't really in my mind know how I needed to make the adjustment in my real estate business to kind of get myself back, because I've made a lot of money in real estate, and I've had months where I haven't closed a deal for several months as well. Like, we all
Right.
kind of had those pieces. So what ended up bringing me to insurance was, at that point, me and Tina last year went to a Joe Dispenza 7-day meditation retreat.
Oh, I love his
And
books, by the way.
yeah,
Mhm.
he's so dope. I can't wait to go to another retreat. But one of my really good friends, Trevor, he's been in the insurance space for about a year and a half. And he's told me, he's like, man, yo, Mac, the insurance industry, man, Mac, like, yo, you can make money, like, Mac, like, he would just tell me, and I would always be very intrigued. But I'd be like, man, I'm doing real estate.
Mhm.
Like, I'm doing real estate. Like, I just couldn't see it. So when I was at the retreat, I'm like, something has to give. Like, I got to just pause with real estate to really figure out how I'm going to restructure my business. And when I went there, Trevor had wrote me, said, hey, we're having a base shop call. So a base shop call inside of insurance, they have little huddle calls, kind of like when we have our Monday calls in the U.
Mm-hmm.
And they talk about different stuff. He's like, we're having one. Can you jump on? I was like, oh man, we're at a meditation retreat. Like, man,
Mhm.
but I felt that was a sign. So I'm like, okay.
Mhm.
So when I got back, I told Tina, I'm like, look, I have nothing to lose. I'm going to try to go for the insurance. Like, Trevor's having great success. I've seen what the business has done for him. Let me just pause and let me get my license. And I did just that. And I'm so glad that I did it, because what I'm able to build now in this insurance space, and the impact that I always wanted to make impact. And I felt like I was making impact in real estate, but I
Mhm.
wasn't at that main piece that I wanted to be, like assets, properties, different
Right.
things. There's other levels in real estate I want to get to, but there's a gap for me to get there. So I feel like the insurance space was that icing on the cake for me to bridge the gap of everything. So that's a
Mhm.
little bit how I got into it.
That's
Wow.
dope.
Yeah.
That's amazing. I think I can definitely relate because I was sort of in the same boat too, but for me it's tech sales.
Mm,
Jumping around. But I think when something speaks to you and you're just like, fuck it, I have nothing to lose.
yeah.
Mhm.
There's some power and it's empowering to be like, because I think people always say again, like, hey, if I were to lose it all, I'm not losing the knowledge. You can always hop back on,
Hmm.
get into real estate or whatever it is, but something spoke to you to make that leap. And I think once you kind of I feel like you and I are very similar. Once you make up your mind and like do it, like you just commit all the way.
Hmm.
And I love that. How long did it take you to get your broker's license? Like,
Yeah.
was it a long process, or if you know if somebody was interested
Yeah,
in that?
so surprisingly, it's a really quick process. It almost reminds me of real estate, because it's like a low barrier entry. The
Mm-hmm.
only difference is, you have to get your life insurance license. So my good friend Trevor, he was like, "Hey, here's the course. You can get through the course. If you get through the course in 7 days, you can get a $200 lead credit." And I'm like, "Okay, free money. I need that. Like, I want to get me a boost, right?" So that's what I held myself accountable to. I finished a course in the 7 days, and then he was like, you want to schedule it a week out while it's fresh on your mind. And I don't like tests. I don't like that in itself. So I'm like, let me
Right.
do exactly what he's saying. I'm gonna go into this new space. I don't know. Yes, I've cold called. Yes, I've had a business, but I'm gonna follow what my friend is telling me to do. So I did
Yeah.
that. I took the course, finished it in 7 days. I scheduled my exam a week out, and then I passed it on the first try, which was a blessing. You have to get a 70 or better. And hey, once you get
There
that
you
70,
go.
you're in
Hey, they
there.
say
You know,
C's that get degrees, 70%.
you're in there. So I passed. I can't remember what I had got, but I passed. And then, you go through contracting, which is a quick process where they get you licensed with all your carriers. And then actually on my mom's birthday, February 10th of 2023, I made my first dial of leads. And what got me with this was, like I said before, how I wanted a system. If I can have the leads, if I can have this, and that, this shit, everything's there. They got the leads, they do the
Hmm.
marketing, they have the CRM, they have all the automation tech set. In real estate, we've had to build everything from scratch. So when
Right.
those signs were coming, I'm like, yo, God is giving me exactly what I'm asking for. It was like another sign.
Mm,
This was the right play. So it's a plug and play system that Symmetry has. You're a licensed independent broker, but you have the opportunity for ownership. The money that you make is good, and it's all quick turnaround, and it's scalable, meaning if other people, you can bring other people on, like you share the opportunity with others, and then they can build an agency, and then you start building passive, etc. But the power in it, it's just crazy that it's literally a plug and play system, and we've all cold call where it ain't a lead. Where I'm like, okay,
Hmm.
I have a lead system in place, and I get to get purchase those leads, and these are people that want it. And I'm like, I felt like I was already on second base when in wholesale starting, we batting up, you know
right.
what I mean?
Yeah,
So
exactly.
that's what really like attracted me even more, that plug and play system. And ever since I've been licensed, I've been plugging and play. I've
And
been
making bank.
on.
There you go. There you go.
Yeah.
I love that. I love that. So tell us about like, do you have an agency now, or how's your structure within
So
your
right
company?
now I'm in the process of, that's my goal, is to become an agency owner.
Hmm.
So when you first come in, you start out at an 80% and it goes up to 130. So right now I'm at a 95% on my way to 100. So like as you meet those marks, you go up. But really they say from day one, you want to share the opportunity with anyone, because one, the opportunity that it gives in itself, the flexibility, the freedom, the plug and play system. They say the best copycat wins. Like you can start building your
Hmm.
agency at any time, but when you get that true ownership, it's when you get to 6 agents and you're doing 30K in business 3 months consistently. And then you hit agency owner, where they're going to give you ownership, meaning if I was to pass away, et cetera, my business is worth X amount. In Symmetry, they're continuing to go higher and higher and higher as far as what the company is worth. So once you get in that, you get equity. There's a lot of other different benefits and stuff, but
Right.
I'm in the process of building an agency now. So just sharing the opportunity with others. And again, anyone can come in and do this business, whether you have no experience or you have experience like us, or you're someone that may be working a job and you want flexibility, freedom, etc. Like this can be the plug and play system for anyone if they're looking for that extra stream, but then you also have ownership and you have passive income that you can build as well. So I'm like, if I've had 6 VAs in the Philippines and I've able to run a successful business, this is all US based. I can
It's
imagine
light
what I
work.
can build from that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that's what I was thinking too. In similar situation in tech sales that I transitioned to, I was like, oh, this is nothing. Like I'm actually just cultivating the relationships that are already there. I'm not cold calling. The systems are already there. You
Hmm.
just execute. And sometimes like it's just not everything is for everybody needs different things,
Hmm.
right? But like your experience is kind of an advantage. So would you
Yeah.
say kind of your real estate experience obviously helped kind of fast forward probably your progress in the life insurance game, and then also like or like how do the deals work out like with life
Yeah.
Yeah.
insurance?
So um I think I would say because of the experience that I've had, I'm not afraid to get on the phone. I'm not afraid. I remember they said, when you do your first set of calls, you're going to get beat up a little bit. And I'm like, man, I've been getting beat up in real estate. Like I've heard
Every
that.
Just
day.
left and right on the
You
real
know what I
estate
mean?
side.
So I do think that experience went a long way and it definitely helped me. But I did have to come humble into this where just because I've been in real estate doesn't mean this is going to be easy too. Like you're going to have those hard moments, etc. So like it
Right.
was accepting that, but I think anyone can come in and learn it because I don't feel it's necessarily hard sales. You're helping people get what they want. They want to protect their family. They want to leave a legacy. They want to set up retirement, whatever the case may be. So, you learning the material, and once you learn it and apply it, I think it's easy to catch on to, but I think I did have somewhat of an advantage because of where I come from. Now, in terms of like how the deal works, so in life insurance, you get paid based upon the families that you protect, right? So when you write a policy, you're going to get paid out the first annual premium of that policy for that year, and whatever contract level that you're at, that's the percentage of you're going to get from that sale.
Right.
So the more sales that you make, essentially, the more families you protect, the more that you can make. So you get paid in that when you write the policy. And let's say if I write a policy today, there's some policies I can write a policy today, I can wake up tomorrow and I'm going to have money in my account. There's some where you can write a policy today and it may take 2 days, but it's quick turnaround for you to get paid out. Once that client pays their first initial premium, their policy is active and you're going to receive your commission. And then from a building aspect, if you were to build a team and let's say you share the opportunity with someone else, so I'm at a 95% and you're at an 80%, you have a 15% spread in between that. So now on anything that you sell, you're going to make your commission, but then I'm going to get a 15% override on
Right.
whatever you sell. So as you
Mm,
scale and you build a team, the more agents and everything that you build, the higher that you go up as far as 130, you can build that gap for your passive income. And that's how it can multiply, quickly. You know what I mean?
mhm.
Right.
That's how you can make your spread in between that. If you go the building route, and then if you just generally produce, you're going to make commission off whatever families you protect.
That's really cool. It kind of reminds me of the EXP model, almost a little bit. The brokerage,
Mm,
when you recruit
Mhm.
realtors, I think
Yeah.
it probably maybe is something similar to that. Where as you grow your team, the better they do, you get a cut. Like that's where it's like building successful agents. So that's really cool. I had like no idea
Yeah. I
how
hadn't
that
either.
worked.
yeah, I mean, and it's dope, like you said, because everyone's being able to build and grow. You can still do your individual producing, but you can get to a point where you have a team that's however many agents across the US where they're writing business, and you're leading, you're managing, you're helping them reach their goals, and then they want ownership to leave a legacy as well. And it's like an ever ending cycle. I feel like it's like best of both worlds where I'm making an impact on families. I mean, from in the event of when they pass away, or not even just that, even while you're living, there's so many plays in insurance that you can utilize while we're living. But then also my family, I'm getting paid well and they're financially impacted. And then I can impact another agent. And it's like a forever cycle.
Mhm.
That's what really gravitated to me, that impact piece that you're able to make like all the way around 360.
Mm.
Yeah.
So on that, did you get paid residual, or is it more, hey, this is we're only getting paid like a monthly thing, or is this per policy, like per
So
coverage?
per policy that you write, you will make commission. There are some specific products that you can make residuals on. Like I know like there are annuities, different retirement solutions. Like I don't know all of them specifically, but there
Right.
are some where you can make residual, but you will make commission on any policy that you put in place for a family. and
Got
it
it.
can continue from there. Yeah.
That's
That's
amazing.
cool.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's pretty powerful. Yeah.
I love it. I know we're approaching the 30-minute mark, and I appreciate. I mean, this is really insightful thing stuff because, again, it's just we talk about real estate in general, like how it opens our eyes, but like it really is like kind of um, the flood, the how would I say it? I guess just the opportunities that it presents itself. Like
Right.
I feel like that gives you the advantage where you're able to learn things, pick things up a little bit quicker. I guess sort of like as we're closing out, how are you looking to like remain in real estate? Are you planning to use some of the money that you're getting to invest and like invest in properties, or are you still kind of thinking of running some sort of wholesaling business still? What's kind of like your real estate plans?
So
Yeah.
so for real estate, I do eventually want to have properties, assets, stuff like that. I feel that the insurance space, when I'm thinking about a wholesale operation and the what I can build with insurance, I would rather have the insurance in the midst of I've had a wholesale with VAs, and there's so many people that are successful, but like really realizing what I want to do.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. That's good.
And I see the scalability for it for me, and then that impact piece that I want to be able to make. Um, for real estate, I'll always have my feet in it. Like, you know what I mean? Like if a buyer, I've built relationships over the years. Like I said, Nicole and I still talk on a day-to-day basis about deals and opportunities and different stuff like that, brainstorm. And so the love of real estate will never leave. But now it's like learning even more in the insurance space on how I can bring that back to real estate so they
Yep.
can show ways that they can benefit in that. You know what I mean? Whether if it's different insurance concepts that you can utilize where you can pull money to help you get an asset. There's just little
Mm-hmm.
different plays that I want to become more of an expert in so I can bring that other piece to real estate. And then again, I mean, if a wholesale deal comes up, we're ready to
Right. You still
You
got
ready to pull
your
that
database
trigger?
we're
somewhere.
ready to do what we need
Still
to
got your
do.
podio somewhere where
That's
Right.
funny.
We still have access to stuff. But yeah, that's what it looks like. My hand will always be in it, and also to just reaching out, collaborating, seeing how different ways we can all brainstorm, like just really being intentional more about that because of what we've learned over the years. I think that's
right.
something that I want to be able to do because I know this other piece of insurance too. But my main focus right now is building this insurance agency because I know the power in it and what it can be, as well as how many people I can impact along the way. So that's the focus right now is I'll be an agency owner 2024 for sure.
I already
That's
know. I
dope.
already know.
Yeah,
Yeah, you already,
That's the
yeah,
deal when I check in with you
100%.
next year.
yeah,
That's
absolutely.
going to be the case. I mean, you definitely have the opportunity to like network either with agents who, or people that come across probates or maybe before it gets to that point, right? Like you have
Mm,
sellers who are not doing so great, tired landlords who are wanting. So there's like lots of opportunities I can see where you can network and bridge like the real estate and life insurance game for sure. But
yeah.
um yeah, I mean, what would you like to leave the audience with? Like, if anybody who's maybe looking to get into life insurance or even kind of where in your role of working a 9 to 5, like what would you say?
Um, I guess one, I would say if anyone's interested to know any more information about the insurance or has any questions, whether if it's getting insurance in place or if this may be something you want to tap into in general, like I would be happy to answer any questions. I'm an open book, so I'll tell it straight up exactly what my experience is. And then for someone working, it's okay that you have a 9 to 5. Like it's
Mm,
okay. Like it's not you hear different stuff because you have a 9 to 5, but everybody's journey is the way it is for a reason and just follow that. And don't make that feel that you're not an entrepreneur, you're not this because you still have a job. If anything, I
Hmm.
can work a job and I can be an entrepreneur. That's pretty badass if you think
I
about it
agree.
too. So like, but at the same time, whatever your goals are, and if you aspire to be out of your job, just know that's possible as well. And the timing will hit you when you know it's right to make that decision. And then the last thing I would say is trusting your journey, and if it don't make sense, it can be scary, but just go with your gut instinct, like go with what you feel, and don't go outside of your element, because we have that knowing and we kind of get surprised, like, okay, I'm following the right track, you get signs. So just
Yeah.
trust your journey. And one thing, one of my mentors in the insurance space, he said, you never want to steal someone's struggle or their story. So whatever that your story is in the midst of that, even if it doesn't make sense, just know that the darkness won't stay. Light is going to be at the end of the tunnel. And I see that light. And I'm so glad about the decisions that I've made, even when I was completely unsure or embarrassed or scared or whatever the case may be. So just keep going
Mm,
after it.
I love it. Mic
Yeah.
that's
drop right
dope.
there. Those are
I know.
like straight
You're
like
giving gems. I'm
wisdom.
like,
Oh, I
Uh,
appreciate
I just
that.
got smarter right there. Come on now.
I love it. That's gonna be on the clip for sure. I know
Uh,
Tim's gonna work on that.
oh, I
Yeah, I got you.
I love it. But I think the biggest thing, especially that you touched upon earlier, was I I got out of my corner and I asked for help. And I think that's the biggest thing that I got out of what
It's
you said
huge.
too, is like not being afraid to you may feel embarrassed, but not being afraid to ask for help, or just being curious on like, hey, what are you doing? Like that I could maybe apply. And it doesn't mean you're literally gonna copy exactly. You're gonna apply your own kind of twist to it, but not being afraid to reach out to people, because people want every. I know I want all my friends to succeed. Like
yeah.
so if they're gonna come to me or
100%.
if I'm gonna come to them, I know that they have their best interests at heart. So I love that you mentioned that. But I'm excited to see what the future holds for you. I know you're gonna kill it because that's just how you are. But we'll have to definitely get together sometime soon, for
Yeah,
sure.
no, we
100%.
definitely gotta catch up for sure. So I appreciate, thank you all so much for giving me this space. And yeah, we will be in touch soon for sure.
Sounds
Awesome.
good.
Cool. Well, I hope everybody watching enjoyed this episode. I believe I dropped Toya's link tree, so feel free to reach out to her if you're interested in life insurance or maybe want to set up a policy. She's got you. So thank you again, Toya, and we'll be back next week, same time, same day.
Yep.
I think we have another guest. I need to look on the calendar, but appreciate you guys tuning in. Have a great rest of your week, and we'll connect soon.
See
All
y'all.
right.